Welcome to another episode of Creators Outlet, sponsored by our friends over at the Inked Marketing Team. If you need that extra push for your Kickstarter or Indiegogo, contact Kevin Gillette over at the Inked Marketing Team. 30 years in the business. See what they can do for you. And we welcome everybody. 6 out of the 25 creators that are involved in this big campaign for Tales from Kerra Prime.
The Sinister Six.
Yeah. So why don't you guys go around, introduce yourselves, and give like a quick background on yourself, and then we can start diving into these stories.
All right. You want me to start?
Sure.
My name is Chris Tadlock. I work for Oxide Media with SourcePoint Press, Deepwater Games, and In3 Art underneath. I manage shipping and logistics primarily. I also help coordinate our convention teams, and I am an author and game designer as well. I have written a short story about Forecast for the Tales of Kerra Prime, and he basically has the ability to control the weather. And this will be my first published work. I've got another 2 stories that are 3 issues each that are in the works, and hopefully we will be seeing those within the next 12 to 18 months. I need to find artists still, but the scripts are well on their way, and you will hear more about Unplugged and Covenant coming in the future months. Be sure to pledge on the Kickstarter. You're going to be very pleased with the Tales from Kerra Prime. It looks to be an amazing anthology with some wonderful talent. Don't get it because I'm in it. Get it because all these other guys are in it.
Nice. My name is Kevin Stewart. I'm a lowly indie artist. I've known Brian for a little while, and he hit me up when I do some character designs for his book, and then he finally hit me up and to do some pages. So I'm doing his story, Deadlift. This is like 3rd published work for me, just small indie press stuff. The last thing I did was a part of a Creep Show anthology that came out last year. I'm just kind of low-key kind of guy, just do stuff as it comes. Maybe one day it'll be a full-time gig, but I was really excited to be a part of his project because it's going to be an awesome project. It's so big and so many artists involved. I think it's going to do really well, so definitely check it out before it ends.
Hi guys, my name is Evan K. Pozios. I'm the writer and co-creator of Time Drunk, published by Caliber Comics, the supernatural gangster series Johnny Phantasm, and the upcoming horror title Silence, coming out from Second Sight Publishing. I am doing a story with Stefano Cardacelli and Revis Witz called Red Hawk, featuring a Hopi tribe member who is the last of his kind, and he's sort of left isolated in a Mad Max style area called the Dead East, and he's learning how to use his powers, and it's a fun little story.
Hi, my name is Dustin Staub. I'm a newbie. This is going to be my first writing, and I'm really excited about it. I'm an Army officer by day, so that's basically what I do. I have I guess you can call it an imprint, Rabid Rhino Comics. But yeah, similar to Chris, I have yet to publish anything. I have a couple of things in the works, so again, hopefully something will be coming from that. Super excited and humbled to be involved in this project. Just looking around in this little video chat room here, I'm very, very humbled by the people that are surrounding me. So I wrote a story for Blacksmith without giving too much away. It's a fun little hunt story. Let's just leave it at that.
David, you're muted.
I was asking, was it the facial hair that was intimidating you, or?
Well, I can't grow that in my line of work. So,
Especially Chris's. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I've got enough for both of us.
So my name is David. I wrote a series for Mad Cave called Savage Bastards. I've done a couple anthologies. Recently, Cthulhu Invades Oz, and I also did an ash cam for one of Jonathan's imprints. In his Freak Show universe, I did Freak Show Jester. For Kerra Prime, I did a story about Apex. It's a humanoid killer whale, and he's very much like got the 90s feel to him, like maybe Bad Rock from Youngblood. So that was a lot of fun to write. I got to really tap into my youth when I wrote that. So.
All right, I'm Jonathan Hedrick. I wrote the recount for Scout Comics, Freak Show Night for Second Sight Publishing. I also have a self-published superhero series called Capable. And for Tales from Kerra Prime, I wrote a story called Roach, which is about this low-life con man who really doesn't pledge any allegiances. And one day he becomes this full-grown insect-like creature, and he hides within the sewers. And he just likes to steal money from people, but he can really hold his own. So it was a real fun story to write. I tapped into my old Ninja Turtle fanboy days and made it a little bit darker and twisted. So I'm looking forward to everyone reading it. I'm looking forward to reading everyone else's story.
Cool. Yeah, this whole project wraps up on Friday. So, I mean, you don't want to waste too much time getting in on it. The link for the Kickstarter is in the show notes, either up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us, and it's in the chat. So there's no excuse. Click on it, and you can listen to us chat while you pledge and possibly win a XXL bathing suit from Kevin.
if we get enough backers.
Enough backers, yeah.
You gotta get enough backers.
We got enough backers. Brian will wear it on stream.
There we go.
It's gonna be weird though when you win it because it's actually embroidered to Kevin from David with XOXO. So it's gonna be a very customized piece.
Yeah, very sentimental.
It does say extra juicy across the back though.
Bedazzled. It's bedazzled, extra juicy.
Bedazzled. Oh, that's
I like the juicy and bedazzled. Yeah.
Oh,
He's a rhinestone cowgirl.
people are already putting up the shocked face. That just from the bathing suit talk,
Oh, and I figured that out. I figured out what it was. I got a bad memory. It was a piece my mother ordered and had it sent here. I just figured out what it was.
So this is your mother's bathing suit? Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's my mom's bathing suit.
Oh, this just took a bad turn.
A very weird.
Dark turn.
Oh.
Stay tuned as the saga unfolds.
Yes. Oh, it's a dark, dark day.
So how were you all approached? I know how Jonathan was approached because Jonathan's been doing a lot of work with Brian over the past year or so. And unbeknownst to myself, I had one of the neck gaiters that Brian did the clown artwork for, and actually wore it when they went to do their first signing down at the Collective earlier this year. He's like, I drew that. I go, okay, well, when you come to Boston, sign it then. So how are you guys all approached? Did you know Brian from other stuff that he's been working on, or did he reach out to you?
I know Brian from the convention circuit and from being part of a publisher here at Source Point Press. I get to see a lot of different works that are submitted for approval, and sometimes they it's a yes, sometimes it's no, sometimes it's a not quite, and we have to work with people to either find a place in our schedule, because we're booked out for probably a year and a half, 2 years at this point, or we have to have things tweaked a little bit, because with our agreements with Simon and Schuster and Diamond, sometimes there are content restrictions that they want to place on us. The larger you get, the less freedom you have. But we're still here, independent publishers, and I'm excited to be able to take a friendship that Brian and I have and turn it into a professional relationship and turn it into a successful Kickstarter. I mean, we're funded. We're now just reaching for stretch goals, and I'm really excited to maybe get my hands on some of those Pillow Pals, because I remember wanting those pillow fighters when I was a kid, the ones with sewer sharks, and I never got one. So now it's my turn.
Those things are turning out really, really good too. The way he's doing them, those bring back so many memories from being in the '90s for those things. You're right. The wrestling ones are awesome.
Yeah, I remember Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, and Ultimate Warrior ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Brian is one of the hardest working guys I've seen in the indie comic scene, and I ran across him I think like 2 years ago through a buddy of mine. And I kind of watched Brian do his thing just for about a year. And then I just kind of hit him up out of the blue just for information and kind of how he was doing things and how he was approaching the convention circuit. And I saw some of the things he was coming up with. I thought they were really, really cool ideas. And then from there, we just kind of bounced back and forth. And he hit me up last year to do the book. And I was like, yeah, I'll be happy to jump on it, and just kind of help him get where he needs to be. If anything I can do to help him out, I'm more than happy to do it. So, because he is breaking his back in the indie industry, and he should be a bigger name than he is, honestly, the way he's going. Yeah, he will be. It will take time, but he should. I feel like he should already be there. He's doing such a good job.
Yeah, the stuff he's putting out lately is just completely fantastic.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, man.
Yeah, I met him at Dragon Con 2019, and we hit it off. And he did a couple commission pieces for me, and then he did an awesome Shepherd Time Grunts promo poster for me for Grand Rapids Comic Con. And we just kind of stayed in touch, and he hit me up out of the blue, and I was honored that he asked me to, play a role and craft a story. And I read some of the bios of some of the characters, and really resonated with Red Hawk. And I was lucky enough to work with Stefano on that, and I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, I got to check it out because you sent me some pages today.
Yeah,
and I got to check it out, and it reminded me kind of like a cross between the old Scout series and Tank Girl.
Okay, thank you.
So it was pretty cool. Yeah, because I'm old, so I'll just be like, oh, that reminds me of this, and half the people like, well, what the hell's that? I go, well, you should watch my show on Thursday nights where all we do is talk about old comic books. Okay, Boomer, the podcast. How could you not watch that?
Well, I'm just a fan. I mean, I'm a collector, and I've known Brian probably for 4 years now. Basically, since I first started collecting, I was drawn to his work and commissioned a number of pieces from him. We've kind of just chit-chatted comics back and forth through the years, and he put out a little feeler on Facebook, seeing who wanted to be involved in this project, and I hit him up instantly, and I was like, please, yes. So I was fortunate enough to have this opportunity, and like many people have spoken to already, I looked through the handbook, and Blacksmith kind of just spoke to me, so that's kind of the character I went with. So I just really hope everyone enjoys it. I think it's going to be great. I think all these people involved with this, there's going to be stories and artistic styles for every flavor out there. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because it's 5 pages on each character to kind of like suck you into that character. Just enough to make you be like, well, dude, what the hell? We want more of this. We
Hopefully.
want a lot more of this. We want more from this character, more from that character, more from this. And I know that's what he was going for, because he wants this to be a launching pad, and he also wanted to be able to give people that haven't had an opportunity to be published that many times, or in your case yet, to get their feet wet and have a cool project to work with them on. So
yeah, think of it like a sampler platter, or like going out for tapas. You may not like everything, but you'll find something that you're going to love. And this is an opportunity for Brian to take the Kerra Prime universe and expose it not only to a variety of different creators, both authors and artists, but to a variety of different consumers, people that like your traditional superhero stories, as well as those that are new and have not really found their favorite arc to follow yet. So.
David?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it's my turn. I get so caught up in people talking. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, that's awesome. So I was a big fan of Brian's art, and I was kind of shy to reach out to him because he's for a while he was like Scout's go-to guy, and then him and John started talking, and John and I are friends. So I was like, well, if John can talk to him, then I guess I could talk to him. So I just reached out to him and just hey, I like your art and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, love Savage Bastards. And I don't know. I mean, if you haven't met Brian yet, then you don't understand how much of an '80s like wrestler he is. He's like, let me tell you something, brother. I really like how you did this with this character. It's really cool, and I wanted you to come work with me. We're gonna build this huge world. I'm like, all right, man, cool. That sounds great. So he just got me really hyped, and he offered me a position on here to write a story, and he said I could choose anything that John didn't do, whatever John's leftovers were, and so I was like, oh, let me do Apex, because I totally want to do this like 90s feel. So yeah, that's how I met Brian, and that's how I ended up working on this.
I like how you guys got a chance to choose. I was told I was going to work on it.
Yeah, he was like, listen here, Kevin, this is what you're going to work on, bro. And if you don't like it, the Brian Sir's going to break you in half.
I got some.
What are you going to do when Kerra Prime comes to you?
Do some deadlift, brother.
Oh, God, I love it.
Kerra Prime.
And just to show that I may know John.
Ooh,
There you go.
I get the last two that one of my shops had. So
I like to hear that. So as far as my involvement or getting on board with the project, Brian came up to me and about doing a cover for the Recount, and I was like, sure. Can I write the sequel to Loggerhead? And he's like, sure. I'm like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, but he was dead serious. So he started sending me the information to the background on the Kerra Prime universe, and this was before he did the previous Kickstarter for the handbook. So I was flipping through, that information, learning the settings in the background to that world as I was building the character of Arctica, which is going to be, the next Loggerhead story, and his villain. So when the anthology came to be, he was like, why not do another character that's already been built? So I didn't have to start from scratch like I did with Arctica. So I was lucky enough to have one of the first dibs, and I picked Roach because he just sounded cool. I was reading through his bio, and he reminded me a lot of Scarecrow. I'm a big Batman fan, and Scarecrow is one of my favorite characters. Scarecrow's name is Jonathan. I'm Jonathan. Roach's name is Jonathan. In case you didn't know, I didn't pick that. It just happened to be that way. It's spelled differently than mine. So it was just meant to be. I also really like Joe's Apartment from the 90s for some reason. And those creepy Roach MTV things. So Yeah. When it came to the handbook too, or I'm sorry, the anthology, he's like, we just can't do another Loggerhead story or another Arctica story because they're gonna have another one shot, a 20-page one shot later on. So why not give some more time to these other characters that people haven't really got a chance to see yet? And yeah, like Chris was saying, we're gonna have these appetizers for all these different characters with a lot of cool art, a lot of cool talent, and yeah, I'm looking forward to get my hands on a copy. It's gonna be hard for me to want to resell any of them, to be honest with you. I'm gonna hurt them. I'm gonna have stacks of Tales from Kerra Prime anthology. So
Just use them as blankets when you go to sleep at night.
yeah, open it up, lay it across my chest.
So, since you are going to be working on more loggerhead stuff down the road, does that mean you're going to be able to scam one of those loggerhead 3D action figures he's been working on?
I hope so. I saw the beginning of the Arctica one, so I was really excited to see that. You know, from the point of me creating Arctica to seeing the 3D model of her, that was just like a quantum leap of time. You know, it's as a writer, you know, we come up with these ideas and these characters and these stories, and it seems like it takes forever for the tangible thing to come in hand. It could take, you know, minimum sometimes 3 months just to get a page back, let alone the actual floppy. You know, I got something in emailed to me today, commissioned work that I forgot that I even commissioned for. Just to show you, one, I probably have too many projects that I'm working on, and two, how slow this process is. So to see, when I saw the 3D model of Arctica, I was like, oh man, that's awesome. I am jealous that there wasn't a Arctica or Roach Battle Buddy. Is that what it is?
Pillow
Yeah.
Buddy or
Battle. Yeah.
Yep.
I want one of those.
Hey, poser! There's a lot of trouble on this screen right now.
Brother. Oh yeah.
When I saw his version of the Wrestling Buddies, it just reminded me when I was in my 20s. My cousin's son was like 5 or 6, and he loved wrestling, but he hated Hulk Hogan with a passion. So it was like, my dude, and he would like run and jump off the couch and catch air and drop a macho elbow on the Hulk Hogan Wrestling Buddy, like in the middle of the floor. All the china would shake. His mother would scream at him. His grandfather would clap. You know, good times.
I was such a Hogan fan that I would eat those pills by the handful to the point where it was like coming out of my mouth as if I was like some kind of coke addict. I would run around the house talking about being a Hulkamaniac, like trying to rip my shirts. And we were poor, so you know that's not really something your parents want you to do. But I'd be like, just like freaking Hulk dust everywhere. It was great.
Well, I'm fat, so my shirts just rip on accident. Poser said he's super hyped for the project, backed it after seeing all of your hype and signing posts, and thought Galliano was going MMA.
Yeah, so we did these like promos, like I am Kerra Prime, and I don't know what I gave like 20 pictures to Brian to use for the promo, and he chose the one where I look like an MMA fighter. I mean, I had thoughtful ones. I had ones where I was like reading a book and sipping tea. Like I had all these things, but he went with the one where I look like an MMA fighter. So all of a sudden, all my friends started hitting me up like, "Hey, did you take up like wrestling or something? Are you going to be like in the ring or something soon?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "This whole Kerra Prime thing." I'm like, "Oh no, it's nerd stuff. It's comic book stuff."
He just stalked my page for one, then grabbed it, and you wonder why he picked the one that he picked.
Yeah, because I saw a bunch of like those promo shots on everybody's page, and because Brian just gave me like this big long list of names that just rolled off the top of his head from the book, and I'm like, okay, so I just copied and pasted. I just hit all you guys up, so I wanted to get in before towards the end of the project.
Mm-hmm.
so I could hopefully, maybe give it a good size push for, that last week.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know, because, I don't want to have to wear Kevin's mom's bathing suit.
Someone else needs to win that.
Yeah, because
you gotta get a good base coat before you put that on, Will, because you're kind of pasty. You gotta get that. You gotta get a nice bronze tan, little base coat before you start popping.
Oh, I know. Why do you think I'm wearing a black hat? I take this off and it's just like.
Is it me or does Will sound like Stan Lee?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not me. Okay.
Say Excelsior.
True believers.
Excelsior.
There we go.
I should know that word. I've been hearing it since I was 5. After all the cartoons and everything. So, while you guys working on regular stuff, what do you have going on top of this right now?
Oh, gee.
You're shipping books, we know.
Well, more than that, I mean, I'm redesigning a game that we basically rescued. There was a game company that because of COVID, they were not able to survive, and we wanted to keep the games alive, so we kind of bailed them out and took on the games. And now we took this one particular game. There's 3 different iterations of it, and we're trying to kind of make a combined, kind of like a gold edition or a comprehensive edition. And there's me and two other employees that are redesigning it, and we're doing a lot of play testing. So I'm designing a board game for work. I'm designing a board game based on one of my upcoming titles. Unplugged has a card game that goes with it. It actually started as a card game before it had a story. I'm writing 2 other comics, and then we moved, our warehouse. So we've got hundreds of thousands of books in here and board games. So yeah, I've got a pretty full plate. But I could be pushing pencils somewhere else. I'd rather be writing and putting games in boxes and comic books in boxes to send out to people to put a smile on their face and entertain people than working as a CPA somewhere. No offense to CPAs, it's just not my jam.
Yeah,
I was a financial advisor for a decade, and I'm lucky I came out of that alive. So
Good for you.
You just got canceled by all the CPAs out there, just so you know.
We're on cancel culture.
Go to Twitter right now. It'll be hashtag
Right now.
cancel Tadlock to be it.
There we go. Tadlock with all his CPA hate.
Oh yeah.
Right now, I'm working on my own IP. It's a book that I wrote a while back. I've been working on it slowly. So really, I'm just kind of floating around doing mainly stuff for myself. I'm not really doing anything else. Brian's book was the last thing I did. Outside of that, I've been working on just my comic book that I've got. It's about done. It's called Apollo, Charity of the Gods. And just I've got a card game kind of in the works, little trading, like a superhero playing card game. I got the fundamentals and the ideas. I just haven't fleshed it out enough. The one thing I'm working on is enamel pins, like horror mashup collector pins. It's called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid, and it's called Killer Aid. I don't have any on there. I'll show you. But I've already got the first series done. I'm waiting on one pin to come from China right now to finish out the first series. But it's like, hold on a second. I'll show you.
CPAs wouldn't cancel you; they'd audit you.
What's that? Sorry. So it's these.
Let me get down here. Point. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So I've got, and they got custom backings on them. You can't see that really, but independent, individual to the card.
Oh, those are really cool.
Yeah, I like those.
Thank you.
Nice stuff.
And then this one, Leatherface. So that's kind of what I'm working on. And so, like I said, the 4th one's coming out. had a real positive, like people love them. I've sold a ton of these things. So I'm kind of just working on that and getting all that out right now. So it's just passion projects for me right now, basically.
No, that's cool. Well, horror and indie comics have like exploded like huge over like the last couple of years. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
that's my niche right
prior
there.
to COVID, I was noticing, more and more indie creators and more and more projects, and I was like, wow, there's this many people making comic books.
It seemed to
And
blow up in 2018. I was kind of
yeah,
following Twitter, and some people have thoughts about this, but I was kind of watching the Comicsgate thing when it first started with even EVS and all them guys. I kind of watched it. I kind of got into it a little bit, and I was watching them, and the indie scene just blew up with those guys. And it seems that's kind of where it's been since then. So it's a great time for indie books. That's for sure, in my
oh
opinion,
yeah.
anyways.
I mean, like Jonathan, I'm a diehard Batman fan. Ever since I saw the Adam West show when I was like, 4 years old. But I mean, there's only so many superhero stories that you can tell with the characters that are there.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we want other stuff, and as a lot of us get older, we would go to like the more mature lines, like the Neil Gaiman stuff from Vertigo, and then it just blossomed, and I mean, oh, everybody had like killer horror comics like last year. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan had a couple, just a couple. He's still working on it.
When I was young, I didn't appreciate the indie books that I would get in the boxes at the comic stores, for like the 10 or 15 cents or whatever. I still got a lot of them, but looking back now, like those are some super interesting stories that were outside the mainstream of the Marvel and DC books. And it's like, that's what I want. Like you were saying, you can only tell a story so many times with the same characters. It gets boring. How many times can you recook that egg? It's just it gets burned out completely. So you want to have new stories, and like it's what like the Kerra Prime universe. It's a blank slate for the most part, and we can get our hands in there and just make whatever we want to make with what Brian's got going on sides. That's what I found so interesting about the project, to be honest with you.
And you're bringing your own killer aid to drink while you write about it.
It's a humanly refreshing drink. Just add sugar.
Man, one typo on that card could have been the end of that line, though.
Yeah, I'm not a scholar. I gotta have somebody proofread my stuff. I'm an artist, not an English major.
Evan, why don't you talk about some of the stuff you have going on?
Evan has been a busy beaver. We recently wrapped up Johnny Phantasm, Devil's Night, 1985. Which was an awesome project. I'm doing that with Patrick Thomas Parnell, and we actually got Michael Golden to do a cover for us, so that was amazing. We also just received these babies, Johnny Phantasm action figures.
Cool.
The crowdfund was a huge success, and like Jonathan said, you work very hard on your characters and your storytelling. You put everything you got into it. So to be able to see, something like this actually come to life is really cool. What else? I've got an awesome horror story coming out called Silence. Alex Sanchez is doing the art. It's sort of an homage to the old Tales of the Unexpected from DC with a little bit of very dark Twilight Zone mixed in. 3-issue limited series. And then I've got a cool little, speaking of anthologies, a story called Cat Lady that'll be in Harvest of Horrors, which is published by Caliber and Second Sight, with some art from Nick Polwico, who has a certain sort of classic EC style. It's really cool.
Oh, I know plenty of crazy cat ladies. And Dustin, I know you're just getting into the game.
Yes. As far as comics and stuff go, I hope to continue being involved in Brian's Kerra Prime universe. And then I have 3 scripts written up. Similarly, I'm looking for artists, and I'll work those things when I get time. I just don't want to rush it. I want things done and done right before I go into the Kickstarter realm. So my vision is to basically already have 3 or 4 books in the bag, so that as we roll these things out, then I don't have to stress too much about timelines and worry about backers having to sit for years before they get things. It's already done. It's already in the bag and ready to roll. So really, I'm focused on moving this summer. I'm moving from North Carolina to Fort Hood, Texas. So I'll be hanging out with the Waco gang down there. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
But otherwise, yeah, that's what I'm working on.
David?
Well, like Chris and Kevin, I have a board game coming out. No, I'm just kidding. So right now I'm working on my piece for a follow-up to the anthology Cthulhu Invades Oz. We're doing Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. So I'm working on a piece with that. I have a few pitches out to a couple indie companies that approached me about maybe working with them. So we'll see where that pans out, and just doing like I normally do, just writing scripts and trying to headhunt artists, Kevin. So that's pretty much what I'm up to right now.
The dude wants to give you a job. Say something.
Yeah, hey, I had myself on mute, but I was miming it. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, hit me up, brother.
No Savage Bastards, the game?
Oh yeah, we should definitely do Savage Bastards the game. It'll be you guys ever play the game Bang? We can just reskin that whole thing and make that Savage Bastards.
Why go through the hard work of the mechanics? Just reskin that boy.
Exactly. I'm all about the efficiency.
I'm digging that Cthulhu, man.
What do they say? Don't try to reinvent the wheel when you can steal tires off of somebody else's car.
Exactly.
That's a good motto. I'm gonna live by that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've always loved tabletop games, and I've got games like all over the place, and I hate it when I find a nerd-tastic game linked to a comic book series that I like. So last year I was like, ooh, Umbrella Academy, the game. And I know it's like a card-based game, but then the box comes in and it's like this big. I'm like, what in the hell?
Well, my fiance and I are huge nerds, like comic books, board games, all that stuff. And we are addicted right now to the X-Men, was it Mutant Insurrection? I've actually got it set up on my table right now. Mm-hmm. But it's basically like, what is it? Elder Signs, the Cthulhu dice game. I don't know if you guys ever played that one.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the X-Men skin on that. I mean, it's Fantasy Flight again. So all they do is reskin it as X-Men, and we're freaking loving it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I got a 13-year-old daughter, and she loves the Flux card games.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those around here somewhere too.
And she couldn't find hers, but she found mine, which has never been opened because it's a Batman the Animated Series one.
Oh, nice.
She's like, "Can we play Flux?" I go, "Do you know where your cards are?" "No, but I know where yours are." I go, "Leave them there."
I'll kick you out of the wheel. Oh yeah, I've seen those. I've never played that, but I see it all the time, like Books a Million and stuff. I never gave it a shot.
It's just a game if you want to piss a bunch of people off at the table because the rules make no sense.
Yeah,
and they change every turn.
Oh.
Her favorite game last year, which I fell in love with the name, was Exploding Kittens.
Yes,
that was a multi-million-dollar Kickstarter, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And they've done like expansions out, which makes it even more hilarious. And then the same people they made this game. I can't remember what it's called, but it's from the crew that made Exploding Kittens, and it's basically a ping pong table with marbles. And
that's clacks, I think.
Yeah, you put the eyeballs in, you put the teeth in, and then you have like this piece that you pull back with other marbles, and you got to knock the cat's nose, eyes, and teeth out. And I'm like, that's fun. I'm a dog person anyhow.
Family friendly.
You know?
I'm classic. I've only got one board game. It's the Hero Quest board game. I had to pay a pretty penny to get that a couple years ago.
That is a good one to have, though.
That's my hands down my favorite game. Love that game.
Didn't they just re-release that one not too long ago?
They're either trying to or they did. I don't know specifically.
2010-ish, somewhere around there.
Was it that far back? I thought it was like recent.
Well, then that would be the third. That would be the third re-release, then I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because I know they did one around 2010. That's one they'll probably keep doing that over and over again.
Yeah, well, might as well, I know that one I got's the original.
Poser says, listening to the tail end of this has made me even more excited for Kerra Prime. Not Terra Prime, Kerra Prime.
As an autocorrect, probably.
and checking out, people that he's not familiar with. And he's got to go because something to do with bedtime stuff with the last awake child.
Sounds like a horror story right there.
Thanks, dude. Oh, it's even worse. He's a school teacher.
I couldn't do it. I don't have the patience for
me
that.
neither. That's why I stopped at one kid.
I remember what I was like in school. I don't want to put anybody else through that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Brings me back to the wrestler thing. I could put a kid to sleep. Come here. I'm going to tell you something, brother.
Sleepy time, brother.
You're not getting that warm milk, brother.
You ever go night-night?
Or better yet, if the kid's got a dog, just feed the dog tacos with hot sauce. One dog fart will just take out anybody.
Oh, man.
Baloney farts. Scares the dog. That dog has no idea what's going on. Like, you smell that?
I think we just lost some backers.
All right, back to Kerra Prime, brother.
Back to Kerra Prime. Jonathan, what do you got going on after this? I know you're wrapping up. Last issue of Recount comes out.
Yeah, issue 4 of Recount comes out May 5th. Cinco de Mayo, talking about taco farts. So perfect timing. Next month, I should be launching a Kickstarter for my new comic book series called Quicksand, which is like a sci-fi horror mashup of a lot of the sci-fi movies I'm a big fan of, like Interstellar and Sunshine, Aliens. I turned in a all ages one-shot comic book to an artist recently, so hoping to see that by the end of the year. Wanted to test those waters. Then I have a couple of more anthologies throughout the year, including a Christmas horror anthology that I'm in. That's going to be pretty cool. More Capables on the way. Yeah, just this and that.
This, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at this. And still got 5 days to go.
Ooh,
And hey, it just went up.
Hey.
Wow.
Nice.
All right.
It just went up, so that's awesome.
It was
Over
the taco
100K.
fart talk.
Yeah, they must have been afraid that you were going to go to their house and feed the dogs some tacos. 110 plus pages, 25 creatives, 16 stories, one universe, and I mean, I fell in love with this universe when I read Brian's original Loggerhead story. I'm like, oh, this is badass. There's Apex, Baku, Blacksmith, Deadlift, Kerr, Bloody Mary, Narlog, Papa Bear, Proudhorn, Red Hawk, Roach.
Yeah.
So let's go down here. Digital copy for $10, physical for $20, and it's a cardstock soft cover, which is probably why it looks like a hardcover in this picture. $50, you can get the digital copy, softcover copy, collector preview, and a signed print. And I noticed that Brian sent a bunch of stuff over to Comic Tom for people that follow him at Comic Tom 101 for all the week's hot spec news. And Brian had done some remarks and some prints and some original artwork and signed them. And some lucky subscribers this month from Tom's mystery mail call will get some cool Kerra Prime stuff in there.
Nice.
Plus, of course, he was pushing the Kickstarter as well. There's that mask. It's like he says, I added masks. I'm like, okay. And I didn't, it wasn't clicking, an actual mask. I'm like, I was just in a cloud, I guess. But
The man is the king of merch. He comes up with the wildest stuff to put on his Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I was really excited when he was talking about doing he's not doing them now, but he was talking about doing the muscle figure type characters, talking about this little pink plastic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Oh god, I
love those things.
I wanted those so bad when he was talking about that. I was like, yes, please, just give me 20 little apexes and I'll just throw them around the room.
Put them in a little garbage can.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Dude, that was the stuff back in the day. Oh
yes.
Man. A bunch of my friends used to work for Hasbro, and I used to go up when I was 15 late at night, and the drivers would pay us high school kids to, good money back then to, unload the trucks. We got to work out, and any toys that we would keep. So I used to get a bunch of those muscle figures, and I would take them
off the truck.
Well, not like that. They were actually on the floor of the truck after the stuff was taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I got my GI Joes too. But I used to take those muscle things to school with a slingshot in my pocket and just fling them around the lunchroom. That was a bunch of fun.
I can see Will in school hey, you want that sidewinder? Fell off the truck. $5.
Yo, Tony, come here. I got some sidewinders big here. Got some muscle guys here. Come here.
I got the trench coat, and I'm opening it up. It's Transformers on one side, GI Joes on the other,
and no pants in the front.
No, that's what I'm doing tonight.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it's a Zoom meeting. I wear shorts all the time because of my leg surgery. So he added, there's only 5 masks. So for $125, you can get the digital copy of the soft cover, the collector's preview, a signed print, a triple signed, life-sized wearable Morocco Noir mask. Brian Couffet in France will sign the mask, and then you can get a frilly bathing suit and put the mask on and terrorize your neighborhood.
That'll make those Zoom calls interesting, won't it?
Oh yeah.
Juicy Del Muerto.
Juicy Del Muerto.
I didn't think they could see me. I muted the call. You idiot. And I thought this was cool that this $400 tier was already sold out.
First day.
That's the way to go. $225 digital softcover collector's preview signed print, 11x17 original art page from Loggerhead and Star Bastard. You pay more than that for an original page of art right off the bat. Never mind the books to go with it.
Yep.
And same here. $300 to get even more stuff. 11x17 original art page from Loggerhead, Bloody Bayou, and Deadlift's first appearance. Hey, you get some key art for $300. And the retailer tier, retailers $100. You get 10 copies
And 2 sketch covers.
and 2 sketch covers from Loggerhead, and I'm sure you can get a certain somebody to draw Loggerhead on that to put up in your store. And then there's a whole bunch of add-ons. So if you missed the Kerra Prime handbook, like I did, so I put this as an add-on, and so you just get a random cover, whatever he's got left out of the 9 covers. Just randomly get one in with the new book. And you can get a Kerra Prime pin. You can get an additional soft cover for an extra $15. A collector preview for $25. 1 blank Loggerhead with profile color sketch for $75. 1 blank Kerra Prime handbook with profile color sketch for $85. And here's everybody's favorite new toys.
Oh yeah. I can believe that is $100 for all 4 of them.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was like, $100 each, and I was like, that might be a little out of my price range. But well, for all 4, I might have to go back and redo my pledge.
They look good, man. They look really good. That deadlift looks on point.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are going to do really well. I mean, I don't know if he's sold yet, but it would be crazy not to buy them because that's a very unique gift,
Yeah, it's like, and when's the last time you actually saw these too?
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, at least, yeah. And people need to buy these because otherwise Brian's just going to sit around at home playing with these things forever.
We'll have them on his bed. All 50 of them.
One of us may or may not have already purchased them.
Good.
We're not telling.
No, they look like a lot of fun.
There's some original art add-ons. You can check out the samples, and you can match down. There's 11 by 17s and 11 by 14, 9 by 12. Baku and Loggerhead, first time drawn together. I mean, there's so much stuff in here, and I thought it was cool that he set up all the stretch goals
as numbers of backers. Yeah, we had a discussion about that, and he wanted it to be a little different than just dollar amounts. So,
which is a unique way of approaching that because it's psychologically it seems like it's more attainable than the money goal monster. That's a good idea. That's a real good idea.
Yeah. Well, minus the guy early on that grabbed that $400 tier, but
yeah.
Yeah, and we're almost up to that 135, right? We were at 133 when we checked just a minute ago. Is
Yeah.
that right?
2 off.
So come on, guys.
We need
You're
2
watching
bigger.
this. We need 2 more right there.
we want to unlock some stuff here.
2 more.
Create a new account. Create 2 or 3 Kickstarter accounts and pledge $1.
That's a good point.
Good idea.
Hacking the system.
Oh, great. Now you guys are going to, well, I want to see what that next thing is. Yeah, 133 backers. This thing just looks great, and I can't wait to get it in my hands.
I think one other point too. I mean, for the creative teams, for those of us who are hoping to work on licensed characters in the future, this is sort of a good place to sort of get your feet wet. Really do your homework. Your character, the world. Making sure that you're getting everything on model. As much as Brian wants. So it's sort of a good resume boost for anyone hoping to work at a big 2 or IDW or Boom or.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many there's so many publishers out there, and yet you really don't want to call them, small press publishers, even though Previews treats them like that.
Well, not anymore.
Well, now they have plenty of room. They got to fill it with something.
Yeah, now they need small press.
Now they need small press and everything in between. So,
a good way to get out there, like you were saying, is doing the anthology. That's how they did it back in the day. Back in the indie craze, all the big names were doing anthologies all the time. It's an easy way to get some exposure, and you maybe get paid for it, but a collection is a good, easy way to do it.
For sure.
Well, I would hope to get paid for it because my landlord doesn't take exposure for a payment the first of the month.
It depends on what kind of exposure, right?
Well, the police told me I had to stop doing that exposure.
That was just in public parks, though, right? You got a little more freedom, Will.
Once they started throwing quarters at him, he quit.
Hail, Sugar Chris. That is actually Chris Evans. No, not that Chris Evans. But Chris hosts a show called The Morning Roast on YouTube where he promotes indie comics. And the only problem with that is every time somebody comes on, he stops talking to them because he's on their pledge page scrolling through buying one of everything, which we don't fault him for, but I'm still waiting for him to buy me something to send. But
so you're saying we got to do his show next?
That's right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
America's ass.
Yeah. Actually, he's a Canadian ass.
Oh, okay. Canada's ass.
Yeah. He's Canada's ass.
He prefers to be called the Maple Leaf Tush.
The Canadian Cluck.
Oh, boy.
Did you say the Canadian cuck?
Something like that.
Cluck.
Okay. I thought I misheard.
I didn't get the memo. Was this PG or PG-13? Like, what are we doing here?
That's a good point.
I think we're pushing the R edge right there.
Yeah. We're pushing the envelope. It's like, 10 o'clock Eastern,
Put your kids to bed.
Yeah. Put them to bed on some trumped up charges.
Kerra Prime After Dark.
There you go. That'll be the next anthology. Kerra Prime After Dark.
You get to watch me crush up some Hulk vitamins and snort them right here on the camera.
Chop it up.
I never shop while I stream. That's a lie. Your streams are professional because Sim always picks up your slack, Chris.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Well, we're all available, Chris. You can call any of us to get on the show. So
Yeah,
For sure.
And you should.
You should. Get all the names from the show notes and start DMing them.
We got 5 days.
I feel like this episode's starting like the comic book. Nice.
Oxide Metas.
This episode's starting the comic book podcast war, and they're gonna do like some old stock footage of us talking about where we were when it started, when the shots fired for the comic book podcast wars.
And Hatfields and McCoys.
Exactly.
Put all black and white with like scratchy filters over and stuff.
Was somebody voicing over what we're saying, or like reading letters that we wrote to each other, which would probably be emails, but John, my dearest friend.
I've been a fortnight since we last spoke.
I remember a simpler time in comics.
I yearn for your closeness.
Whoa.
I mean,
my.
you have seen his beard, right? It's not your beard, but
It's the beard.
Chris has got the Billy Gibbons going on. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming out and talking about the project and other things you have going on as well. As soon as we wrap here, I'm going to download the audio and it's going to go up on the podcast platform, so it'll be available for download. I'll throw it out there and tag everybody in that. And
Appreciate it.
I mean,
Awesome.
I can't wait to get this book in, man.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
can't wait to see the final product printed and in hand. So
Yeah,
it's great.
and I'm probably going to be more excited to see which cover of the handbook I get. So I'm like, yeah, then I can dive into that. I think this is like the fifth anthology that I've pledged to this year.
Nice.
No, we appreciate it.
They're coming
sure.
back. I'm looking forward to it. It's just a great project, and it's a nice starting off point for like all these characters that are just coming into play now. So that, and Chris, you should go out and buy those wrestling buddies. You can add it onto your promotion tonight.
Definitely,
Don't you know?
definitely, Chris, you need them.
They have wrestling
like-
up there.
See, now Chris is disliking the stream. See, I told you this was the beginning of the comic book podcast wars.
It's all.
Who's wearing the blue outfits and who's wearing the gray outfits? Are we doing that?
I think it's the beards versus the no beards.
Oh, yeah, going down.
Dustin, you're out of luck.
I'm Switzerland.
Yes.
It's the Monday Night Wars all over again. Guys, thanks so much for coming out. I look forward to getting this and future projects that you guys are going to be working on in hand. And I'll probably be talking to Chris about some of those games coming out.
Thanks, Will.
Sounds
And-
good.
Yeah.
and
Thank
I'll
you
have
so
to-
much, man.
Thanks so much for having us on, and thanks
Thanks,
everybody
guys.
for supporting Kerra Prime.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys. I appreciate having me on.
Back
Thanks,
to
guys.
project. Back to
Thanks,
project.
everybody.
Back to
Good night,
project.
guys.
Back to
get
project.
Go
Get
get
it
it.
to the next year.
2 people.
Jubal!
The new story when we hit 135. A whole new story is added.
Cool. More pages.
More pages.
Even better.
Definitely. Let's do it.
Thank you guys so much, and I'll be talking to you soon.
All right.
Appreciate it.